Good evening and welcome back to an empty studio. Good evening and welcome back to the channel, the One Celtic Fans View. There's lots to talk about this Monday evening. Quite a few things I want to talk about. A couple of players and the way forward, because there has been another statement put out by... And the only reason I wanted to talk about it is I wasn't going to speak about it, but Kevin Dunn has put up a comment. I'll get Kevin's comment up first of all. Where is it? There's Kevin's comment there. Maybe the fans should do what they are, support the team. As supporters, you could see the silence had an effect on the players. Well, the intended targets of the board just sat there with their normal we don't care smirks. Now that got me thinking about the AGM. I didn't want to start. No, we'll talk about this later on in the video because I want to talk about this guy. As fantastic a player he is, he's just yeah, it does look like IKEA back there, doesn't it? It's a 4-unit shelf. It's got stuff in the bottom, but anyway, it'll need to do until Wednesday morning, I'm afraid. But anyway, Marcello. It's all good having him in at Celtic, but we have him on loan without an option to buy. It's really echoey in here with nothing in the room. We do have him with a loan deal till the end of the season. And I think that is just pushing things forward. I think we all know that we should have had a left back in permanently before Greg Taylor left. It didn't happen. And getting someone in as backup to Kieran Tierney, even though he's probably hitting a bit of better form. No, Chris, I'm moving house. Even though he's hit a bit of better form, he is only on loan. And the fact that there's no option to buy with this guy, no option to buy at all, it's unbelievable that come next summer, we're just going to have a whole lot of issues that we've had. And it seems to me that Celtic are delaying a lot of things till next summer. That's a question for another day. But Daizen Maeda, is he getting blamed for too much at Celtic? We all know that his heads went down a bit, but there are other players that should really be stepping up to the mark. There are other players within the team. Rio Hatate, he should be stepping up to the mark, but he's out injured. We'll see if he's back for the Braga game on Thursday evening. It's Thursday this week, isn't it? And it's a busy month. When you look at what Celtic have got this month, next month. It's not October yet. But when you look at the games that we do have, even though there is a break for international football, we do have Sporting Braga at Celtic Park on the 2nd of October. And then on the 5th of October, the Sunday, we have Motherwell at Celtic Park. And that's going to be a hard game as well, because, I mean, let's face it, Motherwell are... it's always a hard game against Motherwell. And then we've got an away game to Dundee on the 19th. And then the 23rd, we're back with Sturm Graz at Celtic Park on the Thursday. So we play the Sunday. We've got a bit of time off between Motherwell game and the Dundee game. Then they go to Sturm Graz on the Thursday evening at Celtic Park again. And then on Sunday the 26th, we've got Hearts. And by then, you would hope that Celtic would have picked up 6 points in the league to put a bit of pressure on Hearts. Because the time that we travel to Tynecastle, and Tynecastle is never an easy place to go. And especially when people are saying, look, forget about Hearts being top of the league. If they're still top of the league, going into the game on the 26th of October, they will know that a win, a draw, will put them in a good position. It might not be for the whole season, but what it does to the Hearts players is it gives them that motivation. It gives their fan a lift, and it gives them that little bit of positivity going forward. how many times are people going to ask if I've been burgled? No, I'm moving house. Let's just get that out the way before it's like, you've been burgled. I've seen it about 3 times already. But anyway, let's get on to Dyson Maeda. Is there too much pressure being put on? Tell me in the comment section. Is there too much pressure being put on Dyson Maeda at this moment? Because I think that there are other players within the Celtic squad. We've never been a one-man team. Do you know, going back to as far as we can remember, we've never been a one-man team. And for all the pressure that's been on Dyson, yes, he's had a dip in form. But normally at Celtic, when you have a dip in form as a player, there's another half dozen on the players on the pitch. Because they should pick up, normally they would pick up the slackness of one player if he's not hitting top form. But anyway, Baz, I think you went to the pawn shop. Yeah, I've sold everything. Sold it. I'm trying to sell a sofa, I can't get it sold. How's it easier to move house if you empty the shelves? Because you put things in boxes and you pack the boxes away. When the removal van comes, they put everything in the box. Jesus God. I should have just made it the white wall. Talking about walls of silence, that would be a nice white wall. Talking about the wall of silence, let's jump on to this, the Fans Collective. Yeah, let's jump on to the Fans Collective, because they have put out a thing this evening. And it is very divisive, this already. Break the silence, speak to the fans. Saturday's protest was the first of 3 planned silent protests at Celtic Park. And they've got a picture of the man who wasn't there at the weekend. Yes, they have a picture of a man that wasn't even at the game at the weekend, and nobody seems to be picking this up. I know, if I say it's the Spanish Inquisition, where's all your stuff, man? Fuck's sake, bailiffs and renting, they're savages, Baz, I'll feel your pain. I don't, because the next office I won't even have this background. I don't know what background I'll have yet, because I don't know where the office is going to be. Silent protests are utterly pointless, says Square Sausage Max. So let's jump into the comments. And it was interesting that they've got this man, look, Peter Lawwell, who wasn't at the game at the weekend. Now, the AGM, this is what the Celtic Fans Collective are aiming to do. They're trying to put some pressure on before the AGM. Now, the AGM, when is it? Let me just get rid of this screen. That's the fucking wrong one. When is the AGM? The AGM, God, that's even worse with the big gap, isn't it? The AGM will be late 2025. Last year it was on November, was it? November? Yeah, it was November, wasn't it, or something? I can't remember. Sure, it was November. And if it is November, this Celtic board in the hierarchy will sit tight. Who's that? They will sit tight until November. They know that they don't have to do anything. They don't need to speak to fans. They put out an olive branch of come and speak to us about the thing that went on back at the beginning of the year. But they will know that they don't have to do anything. Silences, don't affect anything that they're doing. So let's see what some of the fans are saying on the land of Twitter. Jump up there. Protests at the front door. Thousands of us before and after every game. Sitting in silence isn't going to achieve everything, says this one guy. Is there a majority for this? Withdrawing the support for the team is not an option for me. 12th man has an opportunity to call it out as it is. In song we can protest. A systematic problem caused from the top. Dermot Desmond in charge. He carries the can. Beneath him is irrelevance, and then he's got a picture of those two. Just defeats the team, not sure who the collective actually speak for. Well, the collective speak for... I knew this would happen. The collective speak for people that are part of associations. And this is where the Celtic fan base is quite unique, because you have a lot of people that go to games that are part of a Celtic supporters club or part of an association. You've got thousands of fans that do not. And I think that those fans will feel that their voice has maybe not been heard. And tell me what you think in the comment section, if I could find that. Silence will only hurt the team. Yeah, I'm using the back the Rangers trophy room as yeah, I am. But anyway, it affects the team. The majority of fans agree with this silence is a waste of time. Cancel it. Think of a better protest against the board. Anyone complaining, what is your alternative suggestion? Stop sniping from the sidelines. You either want change or support the board. See, I think that's very divisive in its own, people saying that. And people saying, I've seen a lot of people saying online as well, people that obviously sit in certain sections of the ground, saying, look, if you're against the protest, sing, because we do it for 90 minutes of the game. And I think that's, I don't think that the Celtic support should be going down that road and having snipes at each other. Brother Wolford says, is this still the way to go after Sunday? How the majority of fans seem to feel about it. It's well intended but a terrible idea, and many other opinions. Won't make a blind bit of difference. The only way those charlatans will leave if they get top dollar for their shares. Well, the ones that we're talking about, it's not shares that are the issue. They're only interested in lining their own pockets for corporate jollies to Europe. The silence only hurts the team. And there's quite a lot of comments in the last hour or so. Really childish idea. Celts for change. This isn't. It's true. It's not. It's nothing. The Celts for change would have been a bit more aggressive within their tactics. Something that I've said that we should be. But is boycott the stores, all merchandise, they aren't buying them. Adidas will soon phone them. They cannot be ignored. Adidas is the key to change, not quiet time. That's a cracking comment, Mark Cunningham. That is a cracking comment from Mark. And it's true. If you want to hurt this PLC, the only way that you're going to hurt them is by hitting them. Celtic or Magic says, well done, out with the ultras is a fucking library anyway. Some brass necks saying different. See, this is you're always going to get. The atmosphere was flat on Saturday and we lost the momentum. It was never regained. I'm up for protest, but this is causing more issues, and the idea for rifts and fan movement. We are losing momentum. The strength is our voice. Banners asking Dermot, what exactly are you doing? Boycott is the only thing they understand. I'm not for boycotting games at all. Not exactly back the team, sack the board. Having silences for games. That's all. Everyone should be back in the team on match day, in my opinion. At the end of the silence, say something by James. See, I knew that this was going to happen. And why did they decide not to attend the meeting last week over the Fairhurst report? It's a way to start communication between the fans and the board. I think it is. But they decided to go down another route. And then, there's quite a lot of protests. As much as something needs done, those silent protests always meet negative results. Hibs now a few years back, Livy now a few years back. They'll keep ignoring, they don't want dialogue. Stop giving them money. The silence is deafening, the impact is minuscule. You actually think that these protests are going to make the board speak out or do anything? Do you think they made any impact? They're not going to get any. I think that it's all good, the collective putting out things like this. But interesting to get what your people are saying about it. Falkner says, to be fair, the support has stood by the team despite the transfer palaver. I'm just going through the comments. Never mind the board, we need to score or no league title. Yeah, this is true. We do need to score or no league title. Up the protests, keep the protests going for the season, in my opinion, says Paul. It's an interesting one just to get an overall view, but you can see the way that the silence suit the board all day. The board are laughing at us, says Square Sausage Mick. Yeah, it is interesting just to see the different way that fans that are obviously part of affiliations and fans that aren't a part of affiliations see things. Because I know a lot of people who are part of the Celtic Supporters Association, and they're obviously use that to get tickets from Celtic for away games, and that's how Celtic hand out the tickets for the away games, is through the association. And the Celtic squad need a win to bolster team's collective confidence on Thursday night, otherwise it's a dismal season ahead. Yeah, getting back to Thursday night, it's a really important game for Celtic to get not only 3 points, but pick up a bit of momentum. Do you know? And I'm just worried that if there is going to be a silent protest for so long, but in a European game, is that really the time? Wouldn't a protest outside? These people get to the game a couple of hours before. Watching them coming out of their cars, getting the security to take them to the front door at Celtic Park, and they're not even being questioned by these people. They're not. There's no dialogue. Do you know? There's no running of the gauntlet from their cars to the stadium. They're just getting out of their cars and they're just walking up to the stadium. Don't know. Try to raise money to pay for the Rangers face painter. Yeah, I sold all my stuff to pay Rangers face painter. One of Celtic says, me and my boys are at every home game. Silent protests are absolutely useless people. Monotic Mick, do you sing every single week? I'm just asking. I'm not thinking anything negative. I'm just thinking that, you know, there is parts of the stadium that are completely, deafening. But they had sticky spells before, a few 14-minute titles. Kevin, you've got it spot on there. We've had sticky spells before. From the 14 to 15 titles, still kept our title. We'll do it again. But what if it does have an effect on the players? That's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm all for having some kind of protest against the boards to get certain people out. But I think, considering that the Celtic AGM will be in, I think it'll be November. The AGM last year was on the 22nd of November. This board will know that they can sit tight throughout the month of October, get through November to the AGM. And I think that it's not until closer to the AGM that Celtic will make some kind of announcement to try and appease the fans before the AGM. They have to announce it on the stock exchange. I'm just looking at the one from last year. They have to put the announcement. Notice of AGM. Now this is the date to look out for, because it was on the 22nd of October last year that Celtic, so, do you know, we've only got a couple of weeks to wait to get the exact date for the AGM, and it's a month's notice. On the 22nd of October 2024, Celtic PLC confirms that the annual general meeting will be held at Celtic Park on Friday the 22nd of November 2024, 10:30. Formal notice of the meeting will be issued to shareholders along with the company's annual reports and accounts, which will also be available on the website Celtic fc.co.agm. And it's got the last set of AGMs going back to 2011. That's an interesting one. So if you do want to look at some of the documentation from past AGMs, that's the site that's a part of the Celtic site that you go to. I can just see how many dangling a carrot in front of the fans before the AGM will achieve. They're pissed off. I think that will be more than just dangling a carrot. I think that this will be a significant change to a certain one. I still think that there will be one member of the Celtic hierarchy that will not be seen to be a fall guy for this situation, but maybe relieved of his duties due to medical. I don't know. Someone says last week that this may happen. And I think that the fact that he wasn't there at the weekend by sitting in a pigeon hut waiting for the first one to clock in. Yeah, waiting on them flying through the window just now. Anyway, so there's no poll tonight. Throw coins at the board. You can't have that kind of they would pick them up. Yeah. That's what I mean. I think that, because if you look at what Brendan Rodgers said, and then, by the way, everything that's wrong with Celtic right now goes right back to the very first interview that Brendan Rodgers gave at the start of the season. Because at the start of the season, Brendan Rodgers could have turned around and said, I don't want to talk about that today, and put a tin lid on it. Not talking about it. But instead, one of the first questions that Brendan Rodgers was asked at the press conference, the very first press conference at the beginning of the season, was, what's happening with your contract? There's a year to go in your contract. And Brendan went, well, we had a meeting during the summer, and, you know, Celtic are here and I'm here and I want the best for the club, and you know, I've got to earn the right to be here. Wait a minute. You've just won 2 doubles. You've just done really well in the Champions League. And you're saying that you need to prove your worth to be here as a manager. And then fast forward a couple of weeks. There's an article released by The Sun that came from a Celtic insider. And the Celtic so-called insider slated Rodgers to death. Brendan Rodgers then comes out and says it was cowardly. And you're thinking, fuck, he's grown a set of balls. And then a week later, he sits in front of the media and he says, it's done, it's sorted. It's all been taken care of, it's in the past. What happened in that week? What happened in that meeting with Michael Nicholson and the power brokers? Something has happened at Celtic Park. Something has happened at Celtic in the background, and they do not want to tell you about it. And I think that we'll find out exactly what that is at the AGM. And I still think that it is the departure of Mr. Lawwell. Lessons learned. Falconer says it'll be lessons learned at the AGM. Bag full of empty promises, telling us they listen to the fans and they want to do more than. I don't think that there'll be anything. Joseph Davison says that Law will stand down at the AGM. That's what I'm thinking. If he doesn't stand down before, the big one is Wednesday night. If Lawwell's not at the game on Wednesday night, there is definitely something going on in the background. Now, if it is medical, I hope he's doing okay. Personally, on a personal human being level, I hope it's nothing too serious. But Celtic as a football club, I've done something. Mark comes straight out with it. Paul Bell says Brendan Rodgers can't run away from his responsibility for the team performance on the pitch. He is bluffing the supporters, trying to keep them on side. He is just filling time until his contract ends. I don't think he's filling time, Paul, till his contract ends. I mean, we all know that his contract ends at the end of this season. And I think that it's Celtic themselves that are pissing things about, to be perfectly honest. I think it is Celtic themselves that they're doing things in the background, and it's not to be known as public knowledge. I'll just jump back on it there. Yeah, exactly. Joseph, you've always got to listen to what Brendan says, and the fact that he's Michelle has just owned Paul Baird in one little whoop ass. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm not staying on too late tonight because I've got loads to do. And if you want to watch a good TV series on Netflix, watch the Guinness, the Guinness family story. There's loads of Fenians on it, and there's loads of Fenians getting hated on it, and loads of Fenians doing stuff to the English. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for the night. That one's just cracked me up completely. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans, and I'll see you tomorrow morning with an empty studio. I might move that now and just put the white wall. Just have a white wall. Yeah, I'll probably do that.